All right, check, check. Just make sure we're live. And we'll get the screens up, we'll get the charts up, all that good stuff. Make sure. Okay, we are live on X. That's what's up. And let's just make sure we're live here on YouTube. It always takes a minute for YouTube. I don't know why. There we go. Okay, cool. We're live. See if anyone gets in here. And we'll give it a minute. I got some time. We got the charts up. Starting 5 minutes early, just so we have time to actually mark out my levels, because I haven't even, to be honest, I have not even looked at the charts yet. I haven't looked at the charts since like 2 o'clock. So let me just share my screen. Let some people get in here. Cool, there we go. Going to be trading my Tradeify accounts tonight. See if we can find some Asia scalps. Asia session has been a bit slow the past week or so, where it's been, before that, I mean, it was really popping. Like Asia session was real clean, and it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but that's to be expected, It's like an ebb and flow. Let me just log into my Tradeivate as well. Okay, cool. We are in. Let's let some people filter in here. What up, Ike? Is that how to say your name? Is it Ikewer? What's going on, man? Good morning for you. It's good evening over here, but good morning to you, brother. Thanks for always tuning in, man. Yeah, first thing we're going to do, obviously get the volume profile levels up. I don't think Aiden is going to be joining us tonight. We'll see. He said he might be able to. No, he's got some business. Got some business to do. I'm just going to let him know. No worries, brother. Yeah, Aiden's the man, though. He's a great streaming buddy. Let's get some music on, too. I got my cold brew. I got my Zins. I'm ready to go. Now we just need to find some trades. Let's just get some tunes on here. Oh. I can work with it. So if we just go over the kind of the chart that I had and some of these, some of this lipstick right here on the chart, I was actually looking for shorts. Hold on, my cat is already getting ready to piss me off. 1 second. Not really. You're not messing with that.
Great. Did you get it?
Hey guys. Now I got a couple people tuning in. There we go. What's going on, everyone? Just give me 1 second, okay? 1 more second. I'll be right back, and then we'll get going. All right. So anyway, I was actually taking shorts in the morning. And it worked out. We had some nice shorts. Finally, a winning short. Last week was just brutal for me, man. I'm not going to lie. Like, last week was a tough week. I was red. I gave back like half of the profit I had in my accounts over the course of like 2.5, 3 weeks. It was a tough week, but hey, I didn't blow any accounts, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. It just was not my week. I'm not really good at that like one directional price action. I don't know if anyone else feels that way. I really do a lot better with some, just a little bit. Give me a pullback. Give me a deep enough pullback so I can get on both sides of the market. But this week's looking good so far. I mean, started off pretty strong this Monday, made back a decent chunk of the losses from last week. And, hopefully we can just lock in this trade if I pay out by the end of the week. That'd be tight. Carlos, what up, brother? How are you? What up, Zach? It's Mark. Mark, as in Mark from the Black Shark Club? What's up, man? How are you, brother? Yo, anytime you want to hop on a stream, man, come on down. I've been doing these like twice a week. We'd love to have you. But I've been good, man. I've been good. Trading, getting some payouts, streaming, just doing the damn thing, man. Doing the damn thing. Can I explain what SMT is and how to use it? Of course. Of course I can explain what SMT is, bro. That's what we're here for. Yeah, so pretty much SMT is a price action divergence between two correlated assets. So for example, let me just get rid of this. I can give you an example. When we are looking at SMT, we're using it as a potential reversal signal, and we're watching two correlated assets. So most of the time, with what I'm using it for, I'm looking at the NQ and the ES because they are, for the most part, moving in tandem with each other, right? They are, if ES is making a higher high, NQ is making a higher high, and vice versa. If one's making a lower low, the other one's making a lower low. Most of the time, probably 90% of the time. But what the divergence in the price action is let's just say this is ES, and it's moving up, and then it starts, I don't know, moving down, and you get like some type of reversal, whatever. Let's say this is ES. So ES made a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, or no, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Now let's say this is the NQ. NQ makes a high, makes a low, and then it makes a lower high right here before ES does. So the price action divergence would be right here. So it would be where ES, in this case, made a higher high, and NQ at the same exact time made a lower high. That's what an SMT divergence is. It's just a simple price action divergence between two correlated assets. If you're familiar with RSI divergence or stochastic divergence, comes from the same principles. It's when you start seeing a divergence between the price action and an indicator in that case. But with SMT, it's just purely based off the price action, and it is the most accurate way to recognize divergence. I have not seen a more accurate way of spotting reversals. And I could, we don't even have to just look at this. I can show you the actual price action that helped us with that. So we can do that now. From BSC. Yeah, man, anytime, bro. I mean, you're killing it, bro. You're doing better than all of us, man. I'm seeing you just bringing in like ninja withdrawals all day on the personal account. Are you trading props at all anymore, bro? Or are you just like strictly personal? You're one of the few people I feel like who has just completely graduated to personal capital until you just pretty sick. But Ercon's in here too. What up, man? You gonna trade some Asia with me tonight, bro? Okay, you get it, Carlos? Thank you so much. Beginner today, I learned about fair value gap, now SMT. Thinking about learning turtle soup. Turtle soup is fine. My opinion, I don't think you need to know about turtle soup. That's just my personal opinion. It's kind of a hard one. It's not really a way to trade. It's something to understand. It's good to know about it, but it's hard to actually build a strategy around that. Just my opinion. But yeah, I am glad that actually helped you with the SMT. I also got videos on my YouTube about it. And I'm sure, I mean, if we recognize one while we're trading, then I'll definitely point to that because, I mean, that's how we spot reversals. That's how we get A+ setups. But first off, let's get the volume profile levels up here. All right, so let's mark off all of our key levels, right? So it's going to mark off our previous day's high. We're going to mark off our previous day's low. Previous day's point of control, of course, can't go without that. We'll do the value area high right here. And value area lows right here. I don't think I really need that one on the chart. Sometimes I'll leave them if it's like super close to the point of control because I just don't really see a need. But let's mark these as previous day's volume. This is good. You guys are seeing exactly how I mark my levels every day. All right, let's do that on the ES now as well. We always want to make sure that we can correlate them. Yeah, those are the shorts I took. We can go over those later. Yo, Tyler's in the chat too. What up, brother? Yeah, man. So I was supposed to go to that Tradeify meetup tonight in New York City, but I ended up like having a bunch of errands I had to run, and I just didn't like properly plan for it. I already made commitments for some other things, and I could not make it work. Which I'm kind of bummed about, bro. But I said, fuck it, I'll just get home and I'll stream, and that'll be fun. But yeah, there's a bunch of people in NYC for the Tradeify meetup. It'd be cool to see some pictures, hear about how that went. All right, but previous day's high, we'll mark off on the ES. Previous day's low, of course. You know, standard stuff here. Previous day's OC. And previous day's value area high, right there. Make our little folder. All right, dope. What do I think is the best options for beginners? I don't know what I need to chase, you know? Yeah, man. I mean, it's a good question. I understand. I was there too with ICT, especially. Do you watch ASFX TV? Let me ask you that first. If you're a subscriber to ASFX TV, I mean, I have a course that I'm building out specifically for people who might not be as in tune with ICT. Because a lot of people who watch ASFX when I stream, they're all trading VWAP. I'm kind of the black sheep who trades ICT, right? So people wanted me to just put out like a concentrated format on like how you can understand basic principles of how I trade. So if you're part of ASFX TV, I'd say just wait for that course because I'm putting out weekly videos and it's starting very soon. But if not, I'll give you some free education too. I got you. I do support resistance for value gap equal highs low. Can't do more because I don't know. I mean, bro, that's a strong start. Like at the end of the day, just get on YouTube, look up people like T-Trades, Ryan Stonk, Desi's a really good one for the conversion model. There's a lot of really good ICT educators out there, believe it or not. There's a lot of people who are putting out stuff completely for free, and they give you everything you need. T-Trades is another one. T-Trades is really good. Jen, hi Zach, thanks for recommending SVP indicator. It's helpful for my trading. Let's go. That's what's up. Yeah, a lot of people really love the volume profile. I mean, I can't imagine trading without it. I was thinking about making a YouTube video where I like do some clickbaity fucking title just for fun, but like ICT or volume profile, which do I go with? And I honestly, bro, I don't know. I think I would still have to pick ICT. Because ICT is like the more fundamental principles of how I view price action. But the volume profile is it really is like, it's just that perfect tool that gives me that added confluence that I really need. If I had to pick, I'd probably have to pick ICT, but good thing I don't have to do that. I can use both. But all right, we got our levels up here. What was my strategy when I was using only SVP? Bro, I didn't really have a strategy. That's the thing. Like, I learned about the session volume profile. You must have watched one of my videos on it. It was one of the first things I learned, believe it or not. Not the first ever thing I learned, but it was like as soon as I paid for some education. Using volume profile was like a big tool for the crypto educator when I first started learning it. But he didn't really have a strategy, man, if I'm being honest. But he did like teach me how to mark off the key levels of the value area high, low, point of control the previous day. And then this is before any ICT stuff. I just started marking those levels off, and I was just doing what made sense to me. I would try and like if the market went towards the value area low, I would just try and buy it. Like, and then if it went to the value area high and we were under it, I would try and sell it. And it worked a lot. I would use stuff like that, and I would use pivot points and like RSI divergence, and I would look for I don't know, like a bearish engulfing candle, like really rudimentary stuff. But I started seeing like I obviously wasn't profitable doing it, but I started seeing things that began to make sense. And the volume profile was like the very first thing that really clicked. And I was like, okay, this tool is actually helpful because there's so much bullshit out there, right? Like, I'm sure you guys have tried a ton of random ass indicators and stuff that just doesn't work at all. But yeah, volume profile was one of those things where I was like, okay, this thing actually works. So I definitely need to keep this. I need to keep this on, and I need to continue to experiment. And then, I found SMC stuff, and then I just kind of. It was never even a thought for me to get rid of volume profile. Like I never even thought it would make sense to get rid of that. I just always thought I'll just complement these two, and that's where my strategy was built out from. Archon's pumped for the course. Thanks, bro. Yeah, I am too. Yeah, I sent Austin the first couple videos, so we just gotta get them edited, and then we'll start posting them up. Some guy told me about quarterly pattern order flow. What do you think about that? I don't use quarterly theory. It's too much sauce for me, bro. I don't use it. It's too much sauce. I'm sure it can be helpful if you like really want to get studious with that shit, but I just didn't mean anything to me. Oh, Randy's in the building too. What up, bro? Randy's also been streaming lately. Randy and Christine have been streaming. I've tuned in a couple times. It's no problem, mostly personal. I had a red day today, though, -1.2. Yeah, I had a green day today, but Mark, I was trading like it was a shit show last week for me. I'm just happy I didn't blow my accounts. Like I'm pretty proud of that because I put in 4 red days. I shouldn't be bragging about this on fucking stream, but it is what it is. Like I had 4 red days last week because I just could not get on board with all-time highs, man. I can't long the market when we don't pull back at all. Like I need something. I'm perfectly fine with trading with the trend. Like I don't only look for reversals anymore, but I need a pullback. I need something that makes sense. And last week we were just not getting it. So the market is that type of market is just not my friend. I can't buy up at the high of day when we haven't pulled back for fucking 3 days. I'm not going to do it. So, it was tough. But today was good for me. It was like 1.2, 1.3K on 3 accounts. So pretty good. All right. So these are our levels though, guys. We'll see what's going on here. Right now, the problem is we're still like retardedly bullish territory, right? Like that short was great, but what did we really do? Like it's not bearish necessarily. Like all we did was kind of tap into this hourly fair value gap. So we rebalanced this fair value gap and we moved higher. This was an interesting move. I was not at the desk when this happened. I was already done for the day, but like this was interesting. We kind of swing failure patterns, so we did kind of sweep this high, I guess. But I don't know. I'm not super interested in shorting this right now. I'll give you that. That was an interesting candle. Some days are like a knife fight in phone booth. Facts, dude. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it was all week last week. Last week was shit for me. I'm interested, you guys, like Mark, do you do good in those conditions? I'm guessing you probably had a good week. I don't know. I don't even know how you trade these days anymore. I don't really know your style. But I know I bet Randy had a good week. I know Austin had a killer week. What about you, chat? Anyone in the chat? Were you guys green last week? Was it easy for you to just get on board with longs? Or was it hard? Were you being stubborn like me? All right, so 8:15 p.m. Asia kill zone is in effect. We have not engaged the previous point of control yet, so this is where it's like we're probably going to come down here eventually at some point, but it doesn't have to be right now. That's the thing. I don't really see a setup. I don't see any kind of fair value gap in here. There's just no level for me to just play short. We're above the value area high of the previous day. You know what I mean? Like I just can't do anything right here yet. New York session was fire though because we did have an 80% setup. So the previous day's point of control on the ES was literally like somewhere around here at like 226. I made a post on this on my X. I gotta pull this up because it was pretty wild. If you guys have been following my YouTube, you know about the 80% setup. Look at that. So previous day's point of control was at 6,227.50 on the ES yesterday. So where was that? Right here, 6,227.50. So this is one of the reasons I wanted shorts yesterday. Not yesterday, really earlier today in the New York session. Because we opened up right here. So we had never engaged the previous day's point of control. So that meant we had an 80% setup all day. So what do we do? Put in a high in London, consolidate. We had put in bearish SMT divergence right here, and that was like this between the bearish SMT divergence up at the highs and the 80% setup, previous day's point of control below us, with a really clear like hourly fair value gap, so clear and balanced to target on top of that. The shorts like were a no-brainer for me. It was a bit hard at first, like when you're stuck on the 1 minute, you start, you could start thinking you're going to get that reversal, but we didn't get it. I took 2 shorts. I actually took 3. So I took 1 attempt right here, and that was kind of silly because if I go here, I just ended up closing it early because I don't know. It was a pre-market trade. I don't always trade super well in the pre-market, so I was giving it a shot here, and then I just decided to cut it and wait for the open. So lost 10 ticks on that. But then it's like, okay, we made a new low. This trade would have worked out if I used a regular stop loss, but it's fine. But I'm just, at this point, this is where drawing liquidity is so important for me because I know I want the market to tap into that hourly fair value gap. I know we have the previous day's point control below us. We have the 80% set up. We have the bearish SMT divergence up at the highs. It's just like, this is where, for me, entry is way less important than your overall draw liquidity or your directional bias. So for me, it's like as long as my level is not engaged, my objective has not been met, I can continue to trade in the direction that I think the target is. So that's what I did. I mean, right at the open, I just got short. I got short. That one worked out beautifully. Closed. I ended up adding into the position too. So if I go down to the 1 minute, and I posted executions of this, so no one needs to tell me like I'm just talking out of my ass. I posted executions on my Twitter. You can go look at those if you want. But first entry was like somewhere in this consolidation. We were also above midnight price, so that was an added plus. But I got into an extra contract, so I got 1 mini here times 3 accounts, and then I just put a limit order inside this bearish fair value gap on the 1 minute right here. I can pull up the executions just so you guys know I'm not fluid. Right here. So first contract short was above midnight. We like inverted that 3 minute fair value gap. And then in here, I just set a limit order inside that fair value gap. Got filled like really perfectly by a couple ticks. And then just held it down to the value area high. Really nice trade. I was able to scale in. So I was able to double my R multiple without increasing the risk. Good trade. And then I took 1 more short later in the day, and that one worked out nicely too. Almost got stopped, and I just held this one, and yeah, we ended up engaging that previous day's point of control, meeting my bearish objective for the day. So at that point, when the bearish objective is met, I don't really care what happens after that. That was my analysis. This is what I wanted to see happen. So someone else's objective could have been longing down here at the previous day's point of control to follow trend. And honestly, that would have been an even better trade. But for me, that wasn't my trade. I took my trades here, made my money. I'm out. But all right, let's get into the current price action. Randy longed it today from 52.45, took 3/4 off at 62.54. Okay, nice. Wait, that's a win, right? Yeah, fire, dude. Carlos, starting to learn to do bias too. I forgot about that. So first I look to time frame 1 week, 1 day. Just look at the previous candles higher low and goes to 4 hour. I think you're talking about how important your draw on liquidity is. It is the most important part of how you're going to trade, bro. It really is. Like I'm telling you, people get really caught up on like getting a perfect entry signal, especially people that have been trading for 1 year, a couple months. Like all of the first trading gurus you find, they don't talk about anything but entry signal. They just say like, when the market does this, you sell. When the market does this, you buy, right? Like that's really what most people do if you have really bad educators. I would challenge that your entry signal is the least important thing out of your entire strategy. Being able to determine your directional bias is absolutely key, because if you can determine that, your entry will take care of itself. Obviously, you need signals. You need a good entry signal. You need a system. But if you can determine the directional bias or the draw on liquidity, entry is going to take care of itself. I really mean that. So I always say directional bias is number one, way before entry. So many people just start taking every VWAP break they see. They go, it broke above on a 1 minute time frame. Let me buy. Or ICT traders too. I'm going to trade this inversion. There's a 1 minute fair value gap cut. What does that mean, bro? It doesn't mean anything. Like, where are you going? What's the narrative? What's the objective? Why do you think the market wants to go up? Entry signal is just your trigger point, not how you actually frame out your hypothesis of why the market is going to do what it's going to do. So that's my rant on that. Entry is way less important than directional bias. I think the cold brew is beginning to hit. I mean, we could look for shorts, guys. It's not that crazy. Previous day's point of control has not been engaged. There's an 80% chance that we're going to reach down to 62.40 on the ES at some point. It doesn't have to be in Asia. It could be in London. Or we could grind up all night and do it in a work session. But we have very high probability that we will engage this level at some point before the close tomorrow. We need more than that. We can't just trade off that. And NQ is the exact same. So NQ opened up right here. So we have an 80% setup in play. You see a gap on NASDAQ, will it get filled? Are you talking about the new week opening gap? You're talking about this bad boy right here? Yeah, I think it's possible to fill this. I mean, we're still in sicko mode, bullish territory. But again, this expecting a pullback down to something around here is not a crazy thing to expect. But the way this hourly structure has been painting, it's just tough to look for shorts down that way right now. It really is. We really don't have any hourly structure telling us to slow down on the lows just yet. Again, intraday, especially if you're trading on the 1 minute, you can take shorts all day. But for anticipating a move down towards the new week opening gap, that's going to be a bit harder. That'll be a bit harder. Why do I have previous day's low all the way here? Oh, no, that is previous day's low. What I would like to see is some SMT divergence. If we can spot that and then get an inversion, maybe try a short. Chad, give me your opinion. For the next 40 minutes, what do you think is going to be easier to do right now? Short or long? Just type long or short, whichever one you prefer. I want to know what you guys are thinking. I don't know how to do polls up here. I don't know if any of that shit. Oh yeah, guys, please like the stream. I always forget to do this. If you were watching the stream, give me a like. It really helps out my channel and the algorithm. So please, if you're watching right now, even if you're about to dip, give your boy a like. It'll help out a lot. Hey, there we go. Thank you, guys. Carlos says short. Yeah, I'm with you. I would much rather short, but I've been biased, bro. Like, I've been biased for the past few days. I need an SMT, though. That's what we need. If it rejects previous day's value area high for more than 30 minutes, it's going back to previous day's POC. Interesting. Eddie, did you learn? I feel like I've learned a similar concept. It was a little bit different, but actually, it's not that different. And I learned it from the crypto trader that taught me volume profile. I forgot what he called it, but it's something along the lines of if the market opens up outside of value, so outside of the value area high of the previous day, and then it gets back inside, then it's going to go to the previous day's point of control, right? That's the setup. I forgot what he called it. CCV? CCV setup? That's essentially what the 80% setup is. I kind of jacked it from him, if I'm being honest. But, I incorporate how you can actually get an entry into that. He used to just tell us that that's what's happening, and then he'd be like, he wouldn't show us any executions, and then he'd be like, oh, I did it, and he would show us the next day. So I actually show my executions. I did learn that from him, bro. You learned it from him? Chart Champions? Yeah, man. I mean, I was just like, I'm more just joking around when I was talking shit about Daniel from Chart Champions. I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot. Very grateful that I came across Daniel in my first year of trading. I really am. I feel like even though I didn't trade the way he trades and, I kind of found my own way, I am definitely grateful for the direction that he put me on. And I learned some key concepts from him that I still use. All right, we got to get some action going. I'm down to take a trade, guys, but I think he said if we open outside and return to the value area high or low for 2 consecutive 30-minute candles. Yeah, that was like his trigger. His trigger signal, 2 consecutive 30-minute candles. For me, see, like that type of thing, I remember trying to trade that setup, and I would wait for exactly that. I would just wait for 2 consecutive 30-minute candles. And sometimes the setup would be done by the time the second 30-minute candle printed. So that's where I began to formulate my own way of trading it. And for me, it's more, do I have a solid entry signal? Like if I have the directional bias and I'm going to use that, targeting the point of control, then okay, I have my bias, but how can I get there? Now I need the entry signal and I need the confirmations. And that's, what I figured out with my 80% setup. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to short here because there's just nothing happening. There's no displacement. Like I need an inversion. I need a fair value gap or something. I got nothing here. Yeah, bro, that's literally what I would do. I'd wait there for 2 30-minute candles. I would follow the exact rule. And it didn't work for me like that. Okay, we are in premium of this price leg right here. I really feel like it's been a minute since I even took a good trade on the Asia streams, which is kind of fucked up. But what can I do if there's no good trades? We just got to weather this storm of shitty Asia session price action. because we know it's going to get better. It always gets better. 80% with SMTs, earlier confirmation than waiting for two 30-minute candles. Yeah, that's one good way. That's not bad. SMT is a big factor for me. When we have SMT divergence at the lows and I have the 80% set up, I mean, bro, we had one today. I took it today on the ES. I was just going over that. I don't know if you missed it. I was going over the exact setup. So if I put on my volume profile, hold up. So right here, right? Previous day's point control for previous day was 62.2725. So literally, bro, I took this exact setup. I didn't wait for the 30-minute candles because I have my own way of entering. But we came into London. We put in a bearish SMT up at the highs during London session, going into New York. And I took two different short entries. Really three. I took one here, got stopped out early. I have the tools right here. These are my trades. So one loss and two wins. First win was for about 3R, and I actually scaled into this position. So this is where I made most of my money in the morning. And then I took one more short right here. Almost got stopped out, but we saved it. And then look at that. Like, we meet the objective. We engage the previous day's point of control, and then we fucking rally. Like, this level is not random, guys. You really cannot ignore it. If you're using volume profile, like, you can't unsee it. The previous day's point of control is just so powerful, man. It really is. All right, guys. I want to take a trade, but I can't do shit. I know I keep saying that. What can I do? I do think we'll head lower eventually. Here we go. Kind of like it. Just need displacement. I need an inversion. I need something, man. We should probably take it on NQ if we take a trade, but NQ looks even worse. Oh my god. NQ looks bad, dude. Revenant, I'm watching for a close below 88 on the 2-minute. If we get the close below 88, looking for 22,866. Okay. That's a nice amount of movement. It's like got almost 20 points on the NQ. Mark, are you still solely trading NQ? I've recently been messing around with ES a little bit. But we're trading so differently. Like with what you're doing with scalps, I feel like NQ is the way. That's why I'm looking at NQ right now, because if I do take a trade, it's going to be a scalp. NQ is much better for scalping, where ES, in my opinion, if you're trading more off like 15 and 5-minute structure, you could have some really good trades on ES that are a little bit easier to get an entry and place a stop loss and just overall less stressful. If you're trading off that 15 and like 5-minute structure, we're starting to break down. Part of me thinks I should have been getting involved, but when you get to the 1 minute, you see how bad it looks. It just still looks terrible. What does the ICT kill zone indicator do? It just marks the sessions for me. So mine is very simple. Like, my settings are not the stock settings. There's like so much extra shit in here that you do not need. I literally just use it to mark my overnight trading sessions and the PM and New York session. So like the blue box is the Asia session. So then I just know where my Asia session high and Asia session low is, because I look to target levels like that. Those are liquidity pools for me, Asia high and Asia low. London session high and low is the same exact idea. I look to target those levels. I use them as liquidity pools, and that's the green box right here. So Asia, London. New York is the gray box. So this is like the New York kill zone. So and essentially, I mean, it's just 9:30 to like 11, you know. And then the red box is the PM session. For me, PM kill zone, which starts at 1:30 for me. So I try to stay out of this. I try not to trade from pretty much 11 to 1:30, because most of the time you're going to get some shit price action. And then look, once that kill zone comes back in, we get that beautiful move in the afternoon. So yeah, that's pretty much the reasoning and why I use it and how. But there's a lot of shit in here. Like you could play around with it. There is helpful stuff in here, but again, I just keep it super simple. I just need to know where those sessions are. If you want action in Asia, you got to trade JPN after 1945. Dude, I believe you. I actually have it on here. Oh, wait, no, you're talking about the Japanese index, right? I have the yen on here. When I was an FX guy, I fucking loved this. Dude. This is the USD yen. Get rid of all this. All right, way too long. I used to love this pair, man. And honestly, it's been moving mad clean. Like, look at this. This is like some beautiful trend right now. Damn. I don't know, though, dude. Forex just makes like no sense to me lately. I mean, every time I try to look at it, I cannot trade it. But look at these Asia session moves on the dollar yen. Like, that's where you're getting your moves. New York session is ass for Forex. Like, look at the New York session on Forex. It's fucking terrible. Then you go to Asia and London, and that's where you get the moves. I think that's why so many people from Europe are trading Forex over like U.S. indexes, because they do get decent volatility like in their time zones on FX. Yeah, NQ only. Yeah, man. Yeah, for scalping, it makes perfect sense, Mark. Carlos, I need to learn a lot of things. I'm the only one here that is confused. I really don't know what you guys are talking about. Bro, don't worry, man. You're new. If you're brand new, I'm telling you, watch my YouTube videos, but more importantly, like, look up ICT. If ICT is making sense to you, there's a lot of good free education. Obviously, I'm going to say check out ASFX TV. It's a streaming service where you can watch professional traders every single day. We literally trade live Monday through Friday in the New York session. There's courses that come with it. It's a great way to get started, and you also you have a community. So you build a community of friends, people that trade, and of course you can use ZARP for 50% off your first month. So check that out, ASFX TV. But even if you don't want to do that, man, if you don't got the money for that, you don't want to spend it, like, there's so much free education there. T-Trades, Brian Stonk, Desi, even Casper. Casper SMC is a really good educator on ICT. He has a ton of free content out on YouTube. London session in EU is at 8 a.m. Yeah, exactly. And there's just the volatility is there on these FX pairs in the London session. London and New York, not London, London and Asia. I mean, it's really good. Gold is also pretty good in the Asia session too, but gold has just never made sense to me either. Like, I've never gotten into trading gold. It just, something about it just never really did it for me. Okay, let's stick to this now. We're really doing nothing, man. I keep getting on Asia and fucking nothing happens. It's ridiculous. I drink coffee, I got my Zins, I'm like fucking ready to go, and nothing happens. Is anyone in a trade? Anyone fading me, my idea? Or not even, I don't really have an idea, but anyone trading, taking a long? Oh my God. Oh. I mean, I guess we'd be going to previous day's high, you know what I mean? Do I got a Discord? I don't have like a personal Discord, but I am in the Discord of the Black Shirt Club, which is Austin Silver's private mentorship. I'm not a coach or anything, but I'm a streamer. I stream on ASFX TV, and I'm just a part of the crew. It's a really good crew right now. A lot of good traders in there, but it's like a private mentorship. Let me ask you, bro. If I had a Discord, would you join? If I had a free Discord, I've been thinking about doing that. Maybe I should do that. I just feel like I need my channel to get a little bit bigger before I start like trying to make a Discord or something. It would all be for free. Jesus, man, really nothing to do. Is that, can you explain how it works for you using Asia or London session if someone has to work during New York session? Was it hard schedule-wise to make it work because volume is lower, size up? Fucking great question, man. Really great question. Yeah, I mean, bro, I feel like I tell this story every time I'm on stream, but someone asks a question like this where it makes sense, where it makes sense for me to talk about it. I worked at a grocery store where I worked from 3 a.m. I woke up at 3 a.m. So I'd be at the job at 4 a.m. and I worked until 11. And I did that schedule just so I could have a little bit of time to trade New York session when I got home. But my point is that I could not trade New York session properly for a long time, for like 3 years. First 3 years of my trading career, before I was able to just trade and stream, I was not able to focus on New York session. So I had to improvise. So I traded London. I'm not gonna lie, I highly preferred London over Asia. But this is a couple of years ago now. Because Asia, I mean, at least a couple of years ago, Asia was just like so bad, bro. Asia just did nothing on US indexes. Some tricks that I would do when I was trading Asia is I would focus on like yen pairs. So I would trade Forex. If you're trading futures, like you can trade the dollar yen, the futures of the dollar yen. So again, we were just talking about this. The blue box is the Asia session. Look how well dollar yen moves in the Asia session. Like you can make your money here. You don't need to trade the ES. You know what I mean? You look for assets that move during those times. Gold is another one. Gold moves pretty well in the Asia session. Look at this. Some nice, clean, trending moves. See what I mean? So first off, I would say just try to look at other assets that make sense. Like I'm talking about yen pairs or gold. But you can do it with NASDAQ these days because the volatility has really increased. Even now, I mean, I don't know what kind of accounts you're trading. You're probably trading prop firms, I would assume. So you have access to leverage. But even this tiny bit of movement, I mean, you got like almost 20 points. We've barely gone anywhere. So if you're trading a mini, like a few $100, if you can capture some movement in the Asia session. So that's number one. You don't have to trade NASDAQ. You can look at other assets. But number two, even if you are going to trade NASDAQ, I'd say the key to trading Asia session, and even now, even though there's better volatility these days, the key is sizing up is one way, but I would say that could still be a little dangerous. I think that more of the key is to formulate your strategy around low-hanging fruit steps. So you're not going to be finding those trades that go like 3 or 4R. And you're not going to be finding trades that move 200 points or even 100 points on the NQ during Asia all the time. Like in the New York session, you can catch 100 points on NQ every single day. It's very feasible. In the Asia session, you can't be looking for 100 points, even 50 points. You got to be looking for 20 points, 25 points max. If you can just formulate a strategy around that, looking for those low-hanging fruit, more scalpy ideas, that's what you got to do. So you got to be someone that goes for like 1R, 1.5R, base hits. But it's a nice thing because, I mean, the one good thing about Asia is it's kind of hard to like get emotional and get tilty because it moves slow, man. Give yourself enough room with your stop loss. Don't be greedy. Look for your 15 to 25 points and just get out of there. You can catch 15 to 20 points on NQ these days real easy. A couple of years ago, you couldn't even catch 20 points easily. Like, that was a big move in Asia. So people nowadays, like it's a long time ago, but people this year, at least with like the Trump presidency, you got some good opportunities 24/5. You really do. Are we turning bullish on the 1 hour to break the daily downtrend on gold? I'll take a look at golds on the higher time frame. I do volume profile from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yes, that is the correct way to do it, at least for the way I teach it. Do not use New York. Don't look at regular trading hours only. We use the volume profile for all sessions into one profile. 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. You are absolutely correct. Yeah, we can take a look at the higher time frame on gold. I was doing this the other day on stream too, so I had a couple levels marked out. It looks like we swept this level I had marked. I think it was probably here, maybe on like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was saying that we're probably going to travel a bit lower to sweep out all of these resting lows right here, these resting liquidity, and we did do it. So that was a good sign, and then we naturally kind of had a bit of a mean reversion here. But daily chart, we are still in somewhat of a daily uptrend. If you're looking at like more of the external structure, this really would be the protected low right here, but that's a ways away. If you want to be a little more aggressive with how you're going to identify the structure, some more of the internal structure, you actually could be like marking this off as what was the protected low, right? Because this was the last higher low that made a new higher high, and then we eventually took that low out, right? So this became a market structure shift with some of the more like internal daily structure. And then, I mean, it was a nice indication so far. We come back up, but we still have not taken out the high. So at the moment, this is a lower high on the daily chart. And we've pulled back pretty significantly the last few days. But now I'd be a little cautious because we swept daily liquidity. This is like a really clear swing low. We also tapped into this daily fair value gap. I mean, it held like beautifully. So I wouldn't be surprised if the higher time frame trend wants to just continue now and come back up to take out these highs. But this is where now we'll kind of like narrow in the focus, right? Let's go down to the 4 hour. So we're kind of at a critical point actually right now. So we know we've swept out high time frame liquidity and tapped into a daily fair value gap and started bouncing, right? So that's bullish. That is bullish. But we are at a critical level right now, like for intraday, which is this 4 hour fair value gap, right? We'll just make it red. So I would say if this trend, at least for like the next few hours, is going to remain bearish, this 4 hour bearish fair value gap should hold for us to go lower. Again, just for like an intraday move. I'm not saying we go all the way down to oblivion. I'm just saying like you could get a rejection here. But right now, you're not getting any indication that that's going to happen yet. So this is where you now narrow down the focus even more. And you need to start seeing like down to the 15-minute, are we actually getting any type of reversal signal? Not really, none whatsoever just yet, right? So I would say for 15-minute structure, this is the protected low at the moment. I wouldn't want to actually look for a short unless I'm being more aggressive, which is totally fine, until we take out this low, because then that could give us like that 15-minute market structure shift. But we got to remember that it's happening inside that 4 hour bearish fair value gap, right? So it's like it's confluence to continue the lower trend. But if that doesn't happen, this is why I like using fair value gaps, especially for like lines in the sand. If we get a strong 4 hour closure above this gap, we've now inversed it, right? So we'd still have to be a little cautious because we have another gap right here. So maybe it wants to go into the premium fair value gap. But if we inverse both of these levels, so closures above like 3,340 on gold, Then I would say like higher time frame, we're probably going to continue higher. So this is kind of the line in the sand, these two levels. If we can inverse them, I'd be looking for like all of this low resistance liquidity to get taken. But on the other side of the coin, if you can get some lower time frame bearish structure to form inside one of these gaps, then you could be looking for that downtrend to actually continue to go lower. So that would be my analysis on gold. Let me know if that helps you at all. Clears anything up. Damn, guys. Not much happens. I mean, no trades again on stream. Kind of a bummer, but what are you going to do? I'll chill for another 10 minutes at least, though. Any questions? Let me know. Might as well just do analysis on assets. Let me know if you want me to look at anything else, if you have a question, because I don't think we're finding like a great trade tonight. No problem, brother. Glad that made sense to you. If that happens to gold, means we go into war. Yeah, probably. I mean, we might still go to war, so definitely possible. Okay, this is a little more interesting to me if we could break down on the NQ here. But we still don't have this. We don't have a signal. We need like an inversion of some kind. And ES is really nothing. And even if we did break down, it's just a tough trade. It's tough to do anything here because we're just not at a key level. Like this move, even though it is kind of like it looks bearish, this pullback, there's no fair value gap in here on any time frame, right? So for me, that's just hard to do anything inside because like I got nothing to use as a line in the sand other than this wick. That's my invalidation, like out of my true invalidation. So it's just a tough point to take a trade. We do have a potential draw on liquidity being previous day's point control. But like I said, I mean, unless we get any like real significant breakdowns, it's somewhere that we can build bearish structure where I can place a stop somewhere up here. I got nothing, man. Got nothing to do here. We could just grind up to previous day's high, which wouldn't even be surprising, right? Because we're still in retard mode, bullish territory where we just go up every goddamn day. So yeah, tough action. Yeah, slow start to the Asia session streams. Not much to do. Looks like it's going to be a no trade stream. That's all good. I'll definitely stream one more time this week. Probably we'll go live, I don't know, either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see. Well, no, not Thursday, right? Because we got July 4th. So it's probably got to be Wednesday. So I'll go live again on Wednesday evening. Because Friday, there's no. I don't think the market's open at all on July 4th, and I'm not going to be trading on July 4th regardless. So, yeah, maybe Wednesday night we'll do another Asia stream. Volatility will probably pick up by then. But yeah, guys, right now it's looking like we're just going to grind our way up to previous day's high unless something changes. You know. Any downside targets, Zach? Yeah, previous day's point of control, Erkan. We haven't engaged it. Market opened up right here. We have not engaged in the POC of the previous day. So we have an 80% setup in play. That was kind of the beginning like narrative of why I like the idea of a short. But we're just not doing anything right now. Like I'm not getting any signals. We're just grinding higher. But what would be a signal for me, whether we grind up higher first or we do it here, I'd have to see something. Like we have a little 5-minute fair value gap in here. This could be a good spot. It's small, but it's a fair value gap. we can get an inverse of this 5-minute gap. Like use this as the internal liquidity sweep, break down, and possibly a short this, and then look for either previous day's value area high if you're looking for low-hanging fruit, 20 points, or you're looking for these wicks, or if you're looking for that 80% play. So something like that could be a good setup, but I can't do anything until I get some indication. A more aggressive entry would be right here, the 1-minute inversion. I don't really like that idea, personally. I'd want to look for this. But there are downside targets. Quite literally, there's an 80% probability that we are going to come down here at some point in the trading day before New York session closes at 5 p.m. That we're going to come down to 8:30 p.m. So I like shorts until we engage the POC. I got to follow that. I got to follow the 80% set. Every time I try to fade it because I say like, yo, we're too far away or it's against the trend, it doesn't matter. Like, I've seen the 80% setup work when we open up 600 points away in the NQ and the fucking 80% setup plays out. So yeah, it doesn't always play out, but roughly 80% of the time it does. So for me, shorts are always going to make more sense until we engage the POC. And that was the exact analysis for why I liked shorts today during New York session. That's why I took winning shorts. I traded down to the POC for the 80% setup. Are value area high and value area low just key levels, or am I mainly focused on POC? Yeah, good question, bro. POC is more important because it acts as both a key level that you can trade like bounces from, like with classic support and resistance. But with the POC, you could also trade towards it because it could be a magnet for price. So POC technically is more important, but the value area high and low are very important levels too for a couple of reasons. Number one, if we're bullish and you want to see the market continue to be bullish, then you want to see us comfortably trade above the value area high and the point of control throughout the day. Again, that's only if we've engaged it. If the 80% setup is already done. Today, we have not engaged it yet. So I'm able to fade that general bias until we actually tap it, because we have an 80% probability we are going to tap it. So I guess to answer the question, point of control is technically more important because there's a little bit more use case for it. You have more things you can do with it. But value area high and value area low of the previous day, don't underestimate them. They're really strong levels. Also, you mentioned SVP is meant for 30 minutes. Just curious on why that is or where you learned that. It definitely has been consistent in my 2 weeks of studying. Yeah, man. So I learned to look at it on the 30-minute time frame from the person I learned it from. And I don't have like the best answer for this, but volume profile is kind of the predecessor to the market profile. A lot of people confuse these two tools. They think it's the same thing, and it's not, but they come from the same school of thought. So market profile is based off of the accumulation of price based off of time levels. So when you're looking at a market profile, you have a point of control as well. You have a value area high and a value area low. But they calculate those levels based off of how long the market traded in a certain area. So the point of control on market profile is going to be the area or price that the market traded at for the longest amount of time, if that makes sense. And the person who created it, I believe it was Jim Dalton created that tool to be analyzed on the 30-minute time frame, okay? He has his reasons. Again, I don't trade market profile. I tried to get into it a little bit, but I found volume profile first, and once I found volume profile, I tried market profile a little bit, and I just thought that volume profile makes more sense. I was going to run it. But that's the creator of the tool. he said it is meant to be analyzed on 30-minute time. So it just does. And I've tested other time frames to mark my volume profile levels on. And like you just said, they're just more accurate on the 30-minute. Most of the time, they're going to be pretty much the same, even if it's like on a 15-minute or a 5-minute. But you're going to get those days where it is different, and it's just more accurate on the 30-minute. So I say stick to the 30-minute. But the reason why I like volume profile more is because instead of time, volume profile is based off of the value transacted at these levels. So a volume point of control is based off of how much volume was actually traded at that price. So for the previous day's point of control, the most volume was conducted at 22,833. Now, that is, for me at least, that is a more significant piece of data than how long we actually traded there based off time. Does that make sense? The market profile, I think they just didn't have access to the volume data like when it was created, because the market profile is old school. It is one of the first tools that floor traders, who when the floor trading was kind of disappearing and these guys were trying to learn how to trade on computers, Jim Dalton created the market profile, and it was one of the first like actually useful technical analysis tools. And I think when he created it, I think there just wasn't like a really strong way to actually analyze volume at that time. So they went time. But then later down the road, volume profile was created. And for me, it's just more significant. I'd rather know that I'm using a point of control that is based off of the volume conducted at a certain level, as opposed to just how long the market traded there. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. So see, this is why we don't, market was starting to look a little bearish for a second, but that's why we don't, get induced into every little move. I said, I bet we got that 1 minute inversion. See, we got the 1 minute inversion, but I said I don't like that one because it's just not significant enough for me. I need to see us get below like 92. That would be more significant for a potential reversal idea. Instead, we tapped into that 5-minute fair gap and just ran. Yeah, guys, looks like it's no trades. No trades tonight. I'm probably going to just have to bounce. Ain't nothing happening. Cool. I wanted to wait for your reply, Nick. Yes, thank you. So when we tap value area high or point of control, when your 80% setup is in play now or it's void. Yeah, so once we tap it, it's void. So there's an 80% probability that we are going to trade towards, that we are going to engage that previous day's point of control at some point in the trading day. So this is the thing. It could happen in the Asia session, it could happen in the London session, or it could happen in the New York session. But at some point in the trading day, there's an 80% probability that we are going to engage that level. So the idea of the 80% setup is utilizing that statistic to give us a directional bias to trade towards that level, because we know that we have an 80% likelihood that it's going to engage it at one point in the day. Now, that doesn't mean if the market opens up above it, we just blindly start going short, right? We need to then, this is where like ICT comes in for me, and I use other forms of analysis to actually say, okay, I think it's time to take that setup. But that is the basis of it, because it's giving us the directional bias or the narrative. But once it's engaged, then the 80% setup is void. So because it's tapped, it doesn't need, once it engages it once, the 80% setup is dead. So once it's engaged, though, we then are actually kind of flipping that bias, and we're sticking to a general rule of thumb that if we're trading above the previous day's point of control and it's been engaged, then the market is bullish naturally. and it would actually be easier to just trade in the direction um, of that pressure. So if we've engaged the previous day's point of control and we're comfortably trading above it, it's just going to naturally be easier to long the market than short it at that point. But people get a little confused with the 80% setup because they hear that. I call it the golden rule. If we're above the POC, stick to longs. If we're below the POC, stick to shorts, right? That's the golden rule. But then when I'm trading the 80% setup, people get confused and they're like, you're fading the golden rule. But it's only the golden rule once we've actually engaged the level. So a little confusing, but really it's pretty simple. Right? Sometimes it takes a couple times to explain that to someone so they understand it and really gets through it. Now I get it. I'll rewatch the videos again. Thanks so much, man. So right now we are bearish, but once engaged, it would be bullish. Yeah, generally. And again, like it all depends on your time horizon. Like what type of trader are you? If you're someone that just is scalping the 1 minute, then I mean you could have taken a bunch of longs, right? Like if you're just like a 1 minute scalper, there's a bunch of long opportunities in here. You don't need to just only be looking for shorts until this happens, right? It's about your time horizon. But if you're someone like me, I like to look for moves that are a little bit more based off like 15-minute, 5-minute structure. I'm going to be in that trade for a bit longer. Like I'm not like a pure scalper that way. Then for me, yeah, I'd rather stick to being bearish until we engage the POC. But it's important to remember, like I really want to emphasize this. You still need an entry signal and a setup, right? So in that video, in the 80% video, that's why I go over ICT, because that's going to actually give you the setup based off of the candlesticks and the price action. But the point of control, trading towards it, because it hasn't been engaged, is giving us the first most important thing, which is the narrative or directional bias. We want to trade towards it. But it doesn't mean that we just keep shorting, even if the market is grinding up against us in the Asia session, because it doesn't need to happen in Asia. It can happen, we can grind up all night and then it happens in London session. Or we can grind up all night in Asia, then consolidate in London, and then it'll happen in New York. So you need to have the setup. It needs to make sense. You don't just go short because of that. I just want to emphasize that. So yeah, I would have liked to try and take this for the Asia session and have us engage it during Asia, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen, at least not while I'm on stream. It might happen when I get off stream. It might happen in London session. It might not happen until New York. But the idea is that, yeah, we want to trade towards that level. Yeah, no problem, brother. Glad that cleared it up for you. 100%. All right, guys. Yeah. Sorry that there were no trades, but I think we did a lot of education here. So for those that stayed from the beginning to the end, thank you so much. Really love all you guys. Thanks for tuning in. I've been getting more people in here. I think we've at one point hit like a little over 20, so that was pretty tight. It's rad, man. I mean, at first it was like 4 people were in here. Then it went up to 10. Now like we kind of keep an average of like 10 to 15, but at one point we hit 20. So let's go. Keep it going. Keep it growing. And yeah, I'll be back. We'll go live on Wednesday for sure. So I'll go live Wednesday night for the Asia stream. And other than that, I am live on ASFX TV. I start tomorrow. I'm live Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Check it out, man. I think the promo, I don't know if you get 1 month free still, but you definitely get 50% off if you use code ZARB for ASFX TV. That's the family, man. Those are the homies. So it's not just me trading there. You got Austin Silver, you got James Bruce, Evan Dyer, and we have a bunch of guests that are coming on all the time. I have guests, like people who I just really want to speak to. I've got some big traders on too. And Austin has guests as well. We have people from the Black Shirt Club mentorship coming on, like Randy, Thomas, Rebecca. So yeah, it's a really dope community of people that are just, actually doing cool things with trading. But all right, guys, I will talk to you later. I'll be back on the Asia streams for sure Wednesday night. So thanks for tuning in, fam, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out, everyone.